You guys, look who is here today! Arielle Castillo!
I am so stoked to be here with you, Susannah.
This is so exciting because when the boys are away, the girls are going to play.
Yeah.
We're going to have some fun today.
Yeah, and they might never come back, I was just trying to make it rhyme.
Totally fine with that. This is so exciting. Thank you so much for filling in for Calen, who was on a movement shoot. Let's get right to it. So we start out this show with our twin takeaway. So this is sort of our takeaway from the week of MLS soccer, and I'm going to let you go first as our esteemed guest. So Arielle, take it away.
Cool. All right. My takeaway is that the Supporter Shield race is still super red hot. I think a lot of people thought that Toronto would just run away with it this weekend. But New York City, they've sort of patented the come from behind win. Winning 2-1, I think at the 94th
minute.
94th minute.
Jonathan Lewis again.
Yeah, and it's so funny because you could tell everyone was freaking out when New England pulled ahead, and I'm like, forget it, man. I've been to too many of these games where they come back. So they are sitting about 4 points out of the top right now, and I think they could maybe still take the Supporter Shield. Of course, they would have to rely on Toronto to lose, which maybe is not so likely.
This is a perfect
Yes.
segue.
I'm so
into
glad.
my twin takeaway. It's like we rehearsed this or something. So I have to. Last week, I took some heat last week, especially from Abu Aziz, who said, "You don't talk about TFC enough, and they're such a good team." So I'm gonna do you a solid, Abu. We're gonna talk about TFC this week. This was a huge win for them. They said that they had kind of marked this game on their calendar. They go to Chicago, who has been red hot at Toyota Park. They get the 3-1 win. And this was, Michael Bradley spoke about it after the game, and he said this kind of had like that playoff atmosphere. And for them, I look at this team, and it's not just guys like Josie Altidore and Javinko that are contributing, right? The week before it was Justin Morrow with the brace. This week we had Marky Delgado scoring, Nicholas Hasler. This is a very complete team. And when you look at the way they are winning games, if I'm in the East, I'm a little bit scared. I don't know who is going to sort of challenge them in the Supporter Shield race. It could be NYCFC, but it doesn't look like Toronto's ready to stop yet.
Yeah, like I said, it's a tight race at the top, but it would be dependent on Toronto losing. And like you said, it's not about the stars. It's like every last guy on that roster could just come in and sort of kick butt against anyone else. It's pretty scary.
It's a really well-constructed team.
Yeah.
They know their identity. They're playing well. They're on a roll. They have a big matchup coming up this week against Montreal, who is also playing really well. I'm going to be at that game. It's part of Heineken Rivalry Week, you guys. We're going to get to that in a minute. But let's talk about some of these other games. Let's talk about Sporting KC, who took on Dallas this week. This was a Western Conference battle. SKC walks away with the 2-0 win. They had some great goals from Gerso and Diego Rubio, who's been filling in for Dom Dwyer quite nicely now that he has left for Orlando. Now, they've been solid defensively all year, but for me, what is going on with Dallas is the biggest question, because they cannot seem to buy a goal lately, and I don't know where the firepower has gone, Arielle.
Yeah, it's funny because maybe 3 weeks ago, you'd look at a game like Sporting Kansas City, Dallas, and you'd be like, wow, that's one of the top matchups in the West. Dallas, I don't know, like you said, it's like the wind just got knocked out of their sails, and I don't know if they're super sad that Mauro Diaz is injured, and that's just permeating everything.
Sad.
Yeah, I'm very sad. The second that happened, it was...
I'm sad.
Yeah, it was slow motion. No! But at least from this last match, I think there are a couple like key issues that they can fix. The crossing, really not good.
Yes.
It's been pretty sloppy, I would say. And set pieces. So I think the talent is there. Obviously, the coaching is there, one of the best coaches in MLS.
Sure.
So if they can sort of tighten those two things up, I think they could get back. I mean, there's no way they're not making the playoffs, so I'm not super concerned.
I think, too, it's a matter of guys like Calen Acosta, who started out the season just blazing hot, has kind of, maybe it was the Gold Cup break, kind of scuffling a little bit. They just need to get these guys sort of back in firing mode, because they've had opportunities. It's just a matter of finishing. And so I think if they can get everybody kind of on the same page there, it's not going to be a problem for them.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's Dallas, right?
Don't come back. Don't panic. Don't panic in the Big D. Well, another big result this weekend, we had the Columbus Crew visiting Orlando City. This one ends in a 1-1 draw, Arielle. And for Orlando, this is a team whose playoff hopes are sort of in peril at the moment.
Very much.
You can look at this one of two ways, right? You can look at this as like, oh, they've salvaged a point, or you can say, man, this was kind of a missed opportunity to grab all three, kind of leapfrog themselves over Atlanta, make their way up in the standings. Especially they get the man advantage with 13 minutes left. I don't know. For me, this is more of a downer for them than a positive, and I feel bad saying that, but
no, I kind of agree with you. On one hand, I want to be like, well, losing to Columbus is honorable. To me, they have one of the best midfielders in the league right now. Justin Miram, I think going against him,
so good.
He's super good. But they also have one of the best strikers, Tom Dwyer. And meanwhile, we have Kaká playing drums in the stands, which is awesome.
Which was so great.
Which is great. He's gone full Florida man, but
I love it. I love it. I embrace it.
He's missed on the field. I don't think anyone in Orlando is happy with the results at all. And I think they just need to be a little bit more exact in the final third, because if you're looking at the number of shots they had, I think they had 14 shots. Only 4 of them were on target. So that's just sloppy. And they need to improve on corners a lot. So
some stuff to work on.
But,
Christ.
But at least it's obvious like what they need to improve. So that's my optimistic
That's the positive.
streak.
I love it. Thank you for turning that into a positive for them, because I feel bad. I'm like the Debbie Downer over here. All right, guys. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, it is Heineken Rivalry Week 2. And we've got some big matchups coming up. I should point this out, Arielle. I'm wearing
I was
this.
going to ask you. And
this
what's that
very
all about,
green
Susannah?
shirt with the word "and" on it. So this is part of an initiative that Heineken is putting together. It's called the Anthem of Us. There's a bunch of different T-shirts that are going to be popping up in and around MLS events. And on October 3rd, you're going to see how it all comes together. So this is part of it. This is my contribution. And
it's a mystery for now.
I feel great about it, but October 3rd. Wait for it. Wait for it. Okay, so Rivalry Week. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be in Montreal for Montreal-Toronto, which is going to be so much fun. A little rematch from last year's Eastern Conference Championships. It's going to be great. But we've got huge games on deck. We've got the New York Derby. We've got Cali Classico, LA San Jose, Dallas Houston, RSL Colorado, Seattle Portland. All of them, basically. What are you looking forward to specifically, Arielle?
Okay, specifically, I'm super looking forward to this edition of the California Classico, which is on FS1 and Fox Deportes.
Good plug.
But for real, so this is one of the weirdest rivalries, I think, in the league. I mean, just strange stuff happens. It's historically very high scoring. I was there at Avaya for the first matchup of the season.
Oh, I remember your social takeover from that. That was very fun.
Yes, and there were so many goals. I mean, it was a rude number of total goals. And this is going to be the third time that the teams come together in regular league play at StubHub Center. And I think the Quakes are going into this in a better position. Obviously, the Galaxy, super hobbled. They just lost Jelle Van Dam. Yeah. Which is, I'm happy for him that he gets to go back to his family.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
We'll always have ink, Jelle.
Exactly. So, while we mourn, I mean, that's a big problem for LA's defense. And the Quakes at the same time are just out of the playoff position. But so I think they're going to be hungry to get it back. And I think they're coming into this matchup on slightly better footing.
I agree. I think so. You mentioned the loss of Jelle Van Dam. Another team that said goodbye to somebody this week, Colorado, saying ta-ta to Pablo Mastreni, which I'm kind of sad about. The league needs more mustaches like that.
It's a loss for the human spirit.
Exactly. But that's been a tough season for them. They're coming off a tough loss to DC, so that'll be an interesting one against RSL. We'll see if they can kind of use that to catapult, get some new energy in Colorado. We'll see how it goes. All right, so let's get to some viewer comments, Arielle.
Always fun.
Well, you know what? Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's not so fun, depending on how nice everybody is feeling. But we've got some good ones this week. So Eder Catalan, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, sir. But he wants to know, who is your serious title contender? So Arielle, I want to ask one from the East, one from the West, and quick reason why.
Sure. Okay, East, we already talked about it. Toronto, I think they feel robbed from last year, so there's no way they're gonna not let themselves get back unless they have some kind of very bad playoff luck. Yes. So that's totally my pick for the Eastern Conference. West, I mean, we have Seattle and Sporting Kansas City sitting at the top right now, tied for points. Seattle's at the top just by a little bit. If we wind up with another MLS Cup playoff, I'll dive, and that would be super MLS-y, so maybe that'll happen.
Super MLS-y.
But I think Sporting have a great chance, too.
That's good. I like both of those. Okay, so we've got a question from Alex William who wants to know, he says, can you guys talk about what's going on in Portland? I mean, one week they look incredible, next week not so great. So this week I'm going to guess that Alex is pretty happy. After their 2-0 win over the Red Bulls. This was Diego Valeri doing Diego Valeri things once again. This is a team, like, I feel like this was a huge win for them because now they are right in the mix in the top of the Western Conference standings. If they can kind of use this to catapult themselves, sort of start building that momentum as you had sort of the last couple months of the season, I don't see them not making the playoffs.
No, I mean, I think they'll definitely make the playoffs for sure. I think part of the ups, obviously, Diego Valeri. Without him, there would be far fewer ups. Downs, I think obviously their defending has been an issue. I think they missed Ridgie a lot.
Yeah.
And that's been a big blow. So if they can just sort of keep the action up top, then I think everything will be okay. But like you said, they're not making the playoffs.
They're definitely not making the playoffs. All right, and finally we have Jackson Macy too. He is a big Philadelphia Union fan, Arielle, and he wants to know how we feel about the Union's chances of making the playoffs are. This was a missed opportunity for them this weekend. They end up with a 2-2 draw against San Jose, a late pen that they allowed to Wando. Shout out to him though. He is now 8 consecutive seasons with 10 goals or more, 131 total goals. He is the first MLS guy to do that.
Love Wando. Love Wando.
Way to go, Wando.
American legend.
But back to Philly, this was a huge opportunity for them. They could have gone above Orlando in the standings. Instead, I think they're sitting in 9th place right now. I don't know. It would take a small miracle, I think, for them to get above that line.
Yeah, it would take a small miracle. I think it's, they have one of the best goal scorers in the league, CJ Sapong. They have one of the best goalkeepers, Andre Blake. It's just sort of, it's just sort of what's going on in the middle there. That's a little troubling. But they're only 6 points out of the playoffs, and I think the teams that are ahead of them, just directly ahead of them, are struggling. I mean, if Montreal Impact, they've had a lot of bad luck before their recent pretty good run. So if something goes wrong with them, Orlando we talked about struggling, Atlanta sort of on the line. So if I were a Philadelphia fan, maybe I would hope for those 3 teams to sort of bungle things over the next couple matches because I don't see the top 5 in the East going anywhere. I love this.
I'm like the harbinger of doom, and you're like, it's gonna be okay. It's all gonna be okay. I love that you're here.
It's like once you've been around the MLS block a couple times, you realize that all kinds of like weird, weird stuff can happen.
It's gonna be an interesting final 2 months of the season.
So never say never.
Buckle up, buckle up. Okay, Arielle, it is time for my favorite part of the show.
Let's do it.
I'm going to let you do the honors.
So what happens if I
just press it?
Okay.
Yes! There it is.
It's way too early for that.
A hefty dose of Simon Borg in the morning is just what the doctor ordered.
Very loud.
So this is Did You See That? So I want to know what your Did You See That is from this weekend.
Favorite thing last night during the New York City game, this is not during the run, well, it is during the run of play. Maxi Morales had a great shot, deflected, and RIP NYC social and digital intern Tyler Bailey's phone. Well, actually, if you can see it in the clip, actually the phone survived, so shout out the manufacturer of that phone. But amazing.
Oh my gosh, I was actually at the game and I saw the ball kind of like go out, but I had no idea that happened until after the game. And I was like, that was amazing.
I want to see the clip of like whatever he was trying to get when it happened.
Good, Did You See That? I like it. Okay, so my Did You See That is Giles Barnes' goal. In that Orlando-Columbus game. It started out with a little Meg from Higuita and then a double post, so it was like a Meg double post right away. I was like, oh my gosh, this is everything you would ever want in a goal. It was great. So that was really cool. Also, I kind of have 2 this week because I want to give a shout out to Yordi Reyna for his screamer, his absolute screamer in Vancouver's 2-1 win over Houston. At the beginning of the season, Arielle, Vancouver was my team to sort of be like a dark horse.
They are.
I think that this team, I think that they can make the playoffs, and I think that they can make some noise.
No, I definitely,
get there.
I would be surprised if they didn't sort of squeak above the line. So yeah, I'm all in on the Caps.
All right, I like it. That's it. That's all we got.
Aw, that's it.
I know. This was so fun.
Yay.
Thank you so much for filling in. You can come back any old time you want.
Sorry, Calen.
We'll make it. We love you, Calen. We love you. You guys, if you liked what you saw here, hit like, hit subscribe, get all that good MLSsoccer.com content. We've got a BTW coming up.
Yay.
Yes,
I'm excited for
this one. This one's going to be great, you guys. I did a little something with Felipe ahead of rivalry week, so this is coming out Thursday. So keep an eye out for that. But Arielle, again, thank you so much for being here, guys. Get in those comments. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Enjoy Heineken Rivalry Week 2. See you next week.